faithfully conveying value, interpreting global masterpieces. Hi, this is Sally Book Club. We're continuing with the second half of Hitler's biography interpretation. In the previous episode, I explained Hitler's journey from birth to becoming German Chancellor. Ah, in this episode, I'll discuss Hitler's path with Nazi Germany, including pre-war consolidation of power, his military performance during 211, and his private life after becoming Führer. In 1933, the Nazi Party became the largest party in the Reichstag, and Hitler assumed the role of German Chancellor. But there's a fundamental difference between being opposition and ruling party. People wondered, could this charismatic propaganda master actually govern Germany? From 1918, when WWN ended, to 1933, when Hitler rose to power, German politics could be summed up in one word: chaos. As a defeated nation, Germany faced hostile international environment, territory partitioned and burdened with massive reparations. The Weimar government trembled in fear whenever Britain and France applied pressure. Meanwhile, revolutionary activities persisted domestically. The Communist Party held greatest influence among workers, while Social Democrats and other parties built their own bases. Yet real political power didn't lie with these parties, but with conservative forces. These were mostly imperial-era nobles, industrialists, and military officers, none willing to yield to others. Thus, open and covert conflicts continued unabated. Hitler's objective upon taking power was clear: resolve domestic and international chaos. First, domestic matters. In 1933, Hitler employed ruthless tactics to establish Nazi Party control over national politics within 5 months. First step: ensure Nazi Party dominance by eliminating rival political groups. On February 27, 1933, a 24-year-old Dutchman set fire to the Reichstag building. This individual had ties to international communist organizations, attempting to incite revolution through government building frames. This became the infamous Reichstag fire incident, which Hitler exploited to maximum effect, using emergency measures against communist rebellion as pretext. He pushed through legislation abolishing constitutional freedoms, legalizing Nazi suppression of political opponents. In March 1933, the German Communist Party, then the third largest in parliament, was completely crushed. Hitler then targeted labor unions. On May 2, 1933, the Nazis abolished all national trade unions within a single day. By June 1933, even the moderate Social Democratic Party, the second largest in parliament, was declared illegal. Their leaders were sent to newly established concentration camps, along with other dissidents. Days later, other minor parties, like the Democratic Party and German People's Party, voluntarily dissolved, leaving the Nazi Party as Germany's sole legal ruling power. Secondly, following the Reichstag fire incident, Hitler began consolidating power unto himself. In March 1933, Hitler vowed to the German people to respect private property, support farmers and middle class, end unemployment, and improve relations with Britain, France, and even Soviet Union. But to achieve this, he needed Parliament to pass the law to remedy the distress of the Reich and people. This decree became the infamous Enabling Act, granting Hitler absolute power. Though the law required renewal every 4 years, and Hitler promised limited use, Parliament passed it anyway, and repeatedly extended its validity in subsequent years. This continued until Germany's defeat in 1945. The Enabling Act erased democracy from Germany. After consolidating domestic control, Hitler immediately turned to foreign affairs and military. Unlike previous governments, Hitler adopted offensive foreign policy immediately after taking office, challenging Versailles Treaty restrictions. He made crucial move by withdrawing Germany from the League of Nations in 1933. Hitler viewed the League as post-WWI organization discriminating against defeated nations built upon Versailles Treaty. Cautiously, he used national referendum to frame withdrawal as popular will rather than personal ambition. Withdrawal from the League meant Versailles Treaty could no longer solely restrict Germany. This single move untied German military's hands. The Versailles Treaty had restricted army, navy, and prohibited Air Force development. For years, the tiny German military had been cautiously developing without crossing boundaries. Within a year of taking power, Hitler's bold diplomacy shattered Germany's constraints. The German military expressed profound gratitude as rearmament officially commenced. The French grew anxious about Germany's unilateral actions, while sympathetic but uneasy British watched post-war developments. Hitler understood Western powers' psychology, their desire for lasting peace while using Germany against Soviet Union. Hitler proposed to Britain and France. Germany would develop necessary armaments as bulwark against communism. Germany's air force would never exceed 60% of France's, naval strength maintained at 35% of Britain's. Superficially, these proposals seemed self-limiting measures for peace. Actually, Versailles Treaty had abolished German Air Force and limited Navy to 15,000 personnel with 24 ships, Coast Guard level force. Hitler's proposal actually paved way for open military expansion. Furthermore, German army expansion commenced. The Versailles Treaty had limited Reichswehr to 100,000 troops. By 1935, Hitler expanded army to 36 divisions, equipped with modern machine guns, tanks, and motorized units. Hitler's offensive diplomacy succeeded spectacularly. Germany rearmed beyond Versailles constraints. In August 1934, President Hindenburg's death made Hitler Führer, Supreme Commander of Armed Forces. His first act, summoning military commanders to swear new oath under his supreme command. I swear by God this sacred oath, I shall render unconditional obedience to Adolf Hitler, Führer of the German Reich and people. As brave soldier, I pledge readiness to sacrifice my life at any time. Every soldier repeated this unprecedented oath, previously sworn to Constitution and President. Now personal loyalty bound Führer directly to each soldier. From this account, you'll notice that within 2 years of taking power, Hitler monopolized party, state, military authority domestically and broke foreign restrictions internationally. Given the overall circumstances at the time, Hitler not only controlled Germany, but performed remarkably well. Thereafter, Hitler grew increasingly bold. Starting in 1936, Hitler initiated more preparations. Within 3 years, Germany reclaimed Rhineland, annexed Austria and Czechoslovakia. By September 1939, German invasion of Poland triggered World War. Throughout this process, he maintained relentless momentum. No 2-1 outcome is known. Debate persists about Hitler's military competence as supreme commander. How to objectively assess Hitler's military leadership? In summary, tactical competent, but strategically flawed. First strength, implementing blitzkrieg warfare. Blitzkrieg concepts existed in W11, but lacked modern armor and mobility for effective execution. Hitler prioritized enhancing rapid mobility to concentrate forces for quick victories. This vision brought German armored forces into focus. In 1933, German military held modern weapons demonstration. Heinz Guderian, later famed general, directed motorized unit exercises. Hitler exclaimed, "This is exactly what I need!" July 1934 saw formal establishment of Armored Corps. Guderian received significant promotion. His tank divisions stunned world during Poland invasion. Second, military strength. Unexpected strategy during France invasion. Senior generals proposed WWI-style plans, disappointing Hitler. A lower-ranking officer suggested daring alternative: bypass French front lines through Ardennes forest with mechanized forces, French defensive weak point. This general was Erich von Manstein, later recognized as one of Germany's 3 great field marshals. After learning of this plan, Hitler summoned him for detailed briefing. Contrary to Wehrmacht leadership's skepticism, Hitler enthusiastically endorsed the plan and insisted on its implementation despite objections. On May 13, 1940, German mechanized forces breached Ardennes defenses, conquering France within 40 days and forcing surrender.